I'm going to be demonstrating the Click or Clunk RTI strategy, which is a strategy for students to use as a self-check when they're reading. When they're reading, they can say the word click when yes, they do understand what they're reading, and clunk for no, they're having a difficult time understanding. And they're asking themselves, do I understand this? Does this make sense to me? Do I comprehend this? Can I retell this to my teacher or to classmates? So this is a good way for them to just have that self-awareness of their comprehension. So this is kind of a little checklist that you could have for each student. You could have as a poster, but just kind of breaking this down. They could use this strategy as a sentence check, a paragraph check, and a page check. So if they're doing this after reading a sentence, they're going to ask themselves, did I understand this sentence? And if I didn't, what can I do to understand it? You can maybe reread the sentence, read the next sentence, look up the word in the glossary, or ask someone. And some other strategies I might add to this list would be taking the word out and leaving it blank and seeing if that helps, breaking down the word into smaller parts, or looking at contextual clues or pictures. And then if you had trouble understanding the meaning of the sentence, kind of goes hand in hand with the word, kind of the same kind of strategies. Paragraph check, what did the paragraph say? If you had trouble understanding, try rereading the paragraph over. And then of course your class might have more strategies that you've practiced. So again, emphasizing to the students to use those strategies. And then there's page check, what do I remember? If you had trouble remembering, maybe reread each paragraph on the page and ask yourself, what did it say? So an example of how to model this for your students, you could use this page, and I'm going to model it. Libby read the recipe. First, we need to measure the flour, she said. Clunk, I'm not quite sure what measuring the flour means. So I'm gonna look back at my checklist, my check sheet, and see, maybe I'm gonna try rereading the sentence over and reading the next sentence, and then piggybacking onto what I had mentioned, maybe I would add, looking at contextual clues or pictures. So Libby read the recipe. First, we need to measure the flour, she said. Rosa picked up a measuring cup. She carefully measured 1.5 cups of flour, then poured it into the bowl. Well, as I was rereading that, I noticed that I saw measuring and measured, so those must be important words and they're used differently. And I'm looking at the picture and I'm seeing she's pouring the flour into this cup, so that must be the measuring cup. And measure must mean that I'm going to pour this flour to a line to see how much flour I need in the recipe. So I would, on the MTSS framework, I would place this strategy at a tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 1 being you can use this as a whole class comprehension check. You could use this as like students use flashcards to show you click or clunk. They could show you using 1 for click, 2 fingers for clunk. They could tap on their desk, 1 for clunk, 1 for clink, 2 for clunk. You can adjust it different ways for your class, the best that it would fit. And then also tier 2, because you can use this in small groups. And again, you can individualize it to the student and put different strategies that work best for those students.